Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here from Options and Play. Today, I'm going to tell you about my 60 to 90 minute rule, or my hour to hour and a half rule, is what I talk about a lot. Okay, and uh, this is going to be more for the active trader, so somebody who's a little bit busier during the actual session. For those of you maybe a little bit more passive, or maybe only focused on the longer time frame, this might not apply as much. But for those that trade pretty frequently, or pretty actively during the day, um, you'll probably find that there's going to be sessions when things just aren't clicking, right? Things aren't triggering. Stocks, maybe they're nice consolidations, or maybe they're working on a breakout, but they just don't trigger, right? So some choppy action, maybe some lackluster action, not a lot of follow through, right? And um, really, like, it would be great to be able to know that in advance, right? Because obviously, if you knew that it was going to be a choppy day, you'd probably not be as active, right? You'd size down, maybe you not go after as many patterns, right? And obviously, you never know perfectly in advance, like, whether it's going to be a great day or not. But I have kind of like a rule that tells me after like the first hour, so the first 60 minutes, the first 90 minutes of the first hour, hour and a half, whether I really want to step back my level of activity, right? And this has been kind of in play, maybe more so over the last like year and a half to 2 years, so more recent than in the past. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but this is what I've been noticing. And long story short, like the that first 60 to 90 minute rule, or the first hour and a half rule, it basically all revolves around the market. So the SPY in this case, establishing a trend, right? So what I say is, if by the first hour and a half of the day, so the first hour and a half, there's a little bit of a window, if we have not made a material move from our open, like if we have not established a legitimate trend over the first hour and a half of the day from where we opened, then that to me is a signal that we might be entering kind of like a chop area, right? Or a consolidation day where it might be a little bit less consistent on the triggers, on the breakouts, on the breakdowns. You're not going to get that type of follow through. So those are the types of days. So if we don't have a consistent trend established on like the SPY, the Q, the Dow through the first hour and a half, those are the days like I'm really stepping down my level of activity for the remainder of the day. All right. It doesn't mean I'm not going to trade, because I will, but I probably at that point will start to focus on maybe stocks that have news, maybe headlines, or maybe even start planning for things maybe like reporting after the close, right? Or some sort of event that's coming up, right? And just kind of like quickly going through what I mean. So, right, so today, right, so just using, well, I'll just use like the last few days as an example, right? So today opened, right, a little bit of a chop. Looked like we were going to go, but then we rolled over. So basically, by like the first hour and a half, we were more or less unchanged from the open, right? So we opened, right, looked like we were going to break down, looked like we were going to rally, and then by an hour and a half, we were basically back where we started. So it just, to me, it signals like a choppy, consolidating day, right? Like I wouldn't necessarily be pushing breakouts. I wouldn't necessarily be pushing breakdowns. It's basically like a day when, maybe the market needs a consolidation. Maybe we need a little bit of a pause, for whatever reason. I'm just talking about from like a shorter term perspective. If we haven't established a legitimate trend through that first hour and a half, then I'm really just taking down my level of activity, right? Monday, so a different story. So, right, open, right, an immediate buy, and then basically through like the first hour and a half of the day, we had established a very strong uptrend, right? And what you'll notice is that, yes, a little bit of like a pause, but then we had like another strong move into the close, right? It doesn't always work that way, but those are also the days where I find when we've already established a really clear trend in the morning, that you tend to see follow through. So in this case, the trend was up. It was like a bullish trend. So like those would be the days that I'd be watching for breakouts, watching for continuations, or trend reversals, right? Like bullish trend reversals. So that type of day when you have like that really clear, quick pattern that's developed, that trend that's developed off the open and through like the first hour and a half of the day, those are the types of days when I want to be a little bit more active focusing on stocks in maybe to like meet that type of momentum, right? So in this case it was bull, but if it was the opposite, so we can actually go back. I'll go back a little bit further and show you what I mean on the downside. Actually, I don't know if I can go back far enough. But again, you get the point, right? So again, right? You had a open, then rolled over, then it was kind of like chop, right? This today, the next day was a little bit different, right? You had open, and then you had a clear trend that's established, right? Open, chop, you're not really doing a lot. Open, chop, right? Not really doing a lot. So a lot of these days, like through that first hour, hour and a half, that's really where I'm getting my cues whether I want to maybe like keep like a busy level of activity or maybe like slow things down, right? And focus on maybe on more on the news stocks or the headline stocks, or even like start planning ahead for maybe stuff that's reporting after the close, right? Um, so it's a simple kind of like basic rule, but I really feel like it helps me just kind of prevent like the days when I'm like materially over trading in a tape that might not be might not warrant all that activity, right? Like a tape that might be kind of just choppy and consolidating, and you're pushing too many trades. So like I found that this has really helped me kind of recognize when we might be entering that type of day and just really slow down my overall level of trading to really not put myself in a bad position. All right. So if you like these videos and you're looking for more information on options trading or more information on options education, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options at play. All right. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you all soon.